We're graduating! Isn't it exciting?
Yes, we made it! But I don't really know what I want to do next.
Did you know you can talk to the Education and Career Guidance Counselors in SP? Based on your personal needs and interests, they can help you make informed decisions and guide you on your next steps. These consultations are available for up to 3 years, so it's great for those enlisting in NS too. No matter which path you decide on, there are many career and further education webinars, talks, and workshops lined up for you to gain more insights and be well prepared.
What if I end up regretting my choices?
It's never too late for change. If you ever feel stuck in the future, the PACE Academy in SP supports reskilling and upscaling. They offer many programs and you might just discover a new passion there. For fresh graduates, they also have the Work Study program, which lets us further our learning while gaining work experience.
I don't know if I can count on myself to keep exploring for new opportunities.
Honestly, me too. But I recently found out that the alumni workshops and networking sessions are great for that. You should follow SPAN Alumni on social media for updates on upcoming events and even career or lifestyle tips. Best yet, stay connected by updating your particulars on the student or alumni portals and get your free alumni e-card on the SP mobile app for special perks. Venturing our next steps can feel exciting and daunting at the same time. But remember, SP is always here to journey with us, whenever.
Once again, a big welcome, everybody, to our Singapore Polytechnic Virtual Career Symposium 2022, where we bring journeying with you beyond SP. Yes, it's me again, Derek, your MC, here to host our session 7 Maritime webinar. Okay, if you guys have been with us earlier today, you have seen our engineering's webinar, and right now, like I've mentioned, it's time for our Maritime. Okay, so if you think or two about Maritime, please do stay tuned, because today, okay, from the start, we will have our opening and our welcome address by Mr. So Wai Wah, our principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, as well as Captain Frederick James Francis, Senior Manager, SMA Singapore Polytechnic. Afterwards, we have a couple of industry partners coming on board as well to share with us experiences and how they feel about the industry. Okay, so this is the part, okay, where you guys will listen to their stories, and of course, they'll be presenting different information to you. Okay, if you have questions, okay, you may ask them towards the right side of your screen anytime during the webinar. The panel should say, ask your question here. Okay, so just type in any question that you have, and all these questions will be addressed towards the end of the webinar, where we have a panel discussion with all of our speakers, and that will be moderated by Captain Frederick. Okay, throughout our webinar, we will also plan a few quizzes every now and then for you guys to participate. So how do you participate? Very simple. During the quiz later on, when it's during quiz segment, okay, I will bring up a QR code on screen. All you got to do is to scan the QR code, answer the question, get them right, and stand a chance to win cash vouchers. Yes, you got me right. Cash vouchers are to be won. Bring home these cash vouchers by participating in our quizzes. Okay, so I understand you have a breakdown of the agenda and some questions, some things you want to know about the industry. So I shall not hold you back any further. To kick off, may I please invite Captain Frederick with his opening address. Captain Frederick, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Captain Frederick Francis from the Singapore Maritime Academy. I'll be your host today for this SP Virtual Career Symposium 2022. And we're going to share with you a bit about what our school offers and about the maritime industry. The maritime industry, just like Singapore being an island, is rich in heritage and is a dynamic industry that offers good career prospects. Our Singapore maritime sector employs over 170,000 people in a wide range of maritime careers, including both seafaring and shore jobs. And with international trade continuing to rise rapidly and 90% of the world's trade carried by sea, the maritime industry offers exciting global career prospects for many decades to come. So with this, there are boundless opportunities in the maritime sector, and it's crucial for Singapore to sustain a continuous supply of local talents. And that's where you come in, because we need you to drive the future growth of the maritime industry. And our academy will continue to work alongside with our maritime partners and all other maritime stakeholders to build a steady pipeline of maritime talent. This virtual career symposium is an excellent opportunity for you students to discover career paths, progression, and opportunities in the dynamic and diverse maritime sectors. We'd like to thank our special guests and speakers who have now come down to share with you their learning and working experience.
Industry speakers, alumni, graduating students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SP Virtual Career Symposium 2022. At SP, we prepare our students to be life ready, work ready, and world ready. When our students graduate, we do not just say goodbye, but also see you again. This is because we continue to support them as our alumni in providing them career guidance and equipping them with continual education to be their partner in lifelong learning. This career symposium is an example of our continuous support to our students beyond their graduation. It seeks to provide our graduating students and alumni access to career advice. Our invited speakers come from various industry sectors. They are representatives from multinational corporations, small and medium enterprises, trade associations and chambers, and of course, government agencies. They will be able to share diverse perspectives and the various career pathways. I'm pleased to share that more than half of our invited speakers are SP alumni. SP is proud of their success that they have achieved in their careers. Their holistic experiences are a testament that SP graduates are well prepared for the workforce of the future and well equipped to contribute to the transformation of Singapore. They are inspiration for what all our alumni can become. I hope our graduating students and alumni will take this opportunity to explore the exciting prospects in each industry and exploit the opportunities that lie ahead. I would like also to thank all our industry speakers for taking time to be here to share their invaluable knowledge and insights at this career symposium. I wish graduating students and all alumni a fruitful time today. And beyond this symposium, I hope to see you all again at our various alumni and continuing education platforms. Thank you very much.
So our speakers come from all of the diplomas that Singapore Maritime Academy offers. The first one is Ms. Lomi Anastasia Gautama. She is a graduate from the Diploma in Maritime Business. The second speaker is Mr. Wong Hong Lee, who is a graduate from the Diploma in Marine Engineering. And our final speaker is Mr. Mark Koh, a graduate from the Diploma in Nautical Studies. It gives me great pleasure now to invite our first speaker to share her learning journey and the opportunities in the maritime industry and the kind of work that she's doing. So I'd like to introduce firstly Ms. Leomi Anastasia Gautama, a graduate from the Diploma in Maritime Business and also the HR Business Partner for CMA CGM International Shipping Company. She is one of our most dynamic alumnus, and her journey in Singapore Poly was not just about studies, but she was also involved in many curriculums, including dancing and all the CCAs Singapore Poly has. Over to you, Leomi.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. I am Leomi Anastasia, one of the HR business partner from CMA CGM group of companies in Singapore. And I'll be sharing with you a little bit about the industry and what you can look forward to as probably one of your options for your first job after graduating. A little bit about me. I also graduated from Singapore Poly back in 2004 from the Diploma in Maritime Business. I've been HR for the past 11 years, so hopefully this 10 minutes or so sharing will be useful. Okay, so let's begin. A little bit about the industry if you are not familiar with CMA CGM. CMA CGM Group is the third largest container shipping company in the world in terms of capacity. Our main activities is sea transportation, by transporting products and goods from one of these containers and putting them onto our vessels. So containers are these standard boxes, standard size boxes, and they allow for intermodal modes of transport, which means that the same container can be loaded onto the ship, onto the rail, onto the truck, like what you see in the picture. We call it intermodal transportation. If you're wondering what fits into a standard 20-footer container, you can see in the list. So the size is pretty big. It's a 20-foot container. It's a smaller size actually. We have a 40-foot as well. You can fill up like 100 washing machines, 400 flat screen TVs, 48,000 bananas. So the size is pretty big, and the largest vessel that is plying the route right now can carry up to about 24,000 of these containers. So shipping transportation actually accounts for 90% of world trade movements. So you can imagine that all your purchases from the e-commerce platform like Shopee, Lazada, and Taobao will probably at one point be transported in one of these containers, right? In fact, whatever that is on you right now, your clothes, your shoes, your bags, your hats, are probably also or most likely be transported into one of these containers as well. So shipping transportation, as I mentioned, is actually just part of a whole supply chain process. So a complete supply chain will look something like what you see in the picture here. It's supposed to provide a door-to-door delivery from the seller to the buyer. And container make this possible, right? So like I said, the same container is loaded from the warehouse of the seller. It goes onto the truck, it goes onto the ship, it's discharged somewhere and taken on by the rail and so on. And sustainability is pretty big right now. So good to know that, out of the 90% of global trade that is transported by sea, shipping contributes around 3% of global CO2 emissions. And it's quite low in comparison to the other modes of transportation, but we are doing more. So industry leaders is working towards new technology to bring these figures even lower. So now you know a little bit about the shipping industries. It's not just about ships and it's not just about sailing, right? I'll move on to what happened in the past 2 years with COVID and the pandemic. How has this changed the ways of working? Because you guys are going to go on and start your own working journey, right? So you can be expecting this in your next course of work. For sure, the pandemic accelerated innovation and digitalization almost everywhere. So shipping is no difference. We have automated a lot of processes when we were working from home, where you were doing remotely. We stopped, handling hard copy papers. We use all the things virtual meetings and so on. So you can be expecting this in the next place of work. Even the warehouses get a little gifts of tiny little automated robots, as you can see in the picture. Okay, so overall, COVID has done that for us. And what does this mean for you actually? It's more, you can expect a more flexible working arrangements. Hybrid working, they call it, right? Sometimes you're working from home, sometimes you're working from the office. And because of that, your performance will be measured based on your deliverables, based on the end results, because you're not always visible to your managers. You may be working from home. So what they want to know is that you have the accountability and responsibility to complete the task given and delivers. Because of that, there's a higher need of feedback as well. And I guess when you join a company and you don't see your team members every day, it can be quite difficult to settle in. And this is something that you may be expecting as well. So you need to put a little bit more effort to build that trust with your team members and with your other colleagues when you're joining a company, right? So that's just a little bit about what's happening in the past 2 years, because these ways of working will kind of post-COVID ways of working will continue to to be happening in the working landscape. So you're probably wondering, okay, in a shipping company, what kind of career opportunities can I have as a graduate? So let's take a look at the possible roles that you may find in shipping companies' job portals. Very broadly, the roles can be divided into these four categories. Let's take a look one by one, starting from the corporate functions. So corporate functions are roles like finance, HR, IT that are quite common across industries. So it's not relatively just to shipping. So if you're from finance background or IT background, feel free. There is something that can work for you across industries as well. The other big category is trade and commercials. So these are the fronting roles like sales and customer service. You deal with customers to either sell the products and services, or you monitor their shipments and you provide a post-sale service. A little at the back end, not so much fronting, but equally important are the operations and logistics functions. So what you see here in the list are some of the titles that you may see in the job portals. It can be called a variety of different things, but usually it's, the job descriptions are pretty much the same. Operations and logistics are at the back end doing planning on how the routing of the vessel is supposed to go, which port comes first, which containers to be loaded or unloaded first. And there's a lot of logistics at the background to make sure that the spares are reaching on time, etc. Last but not least is the fleet and crew management division. So this one a little bit more shipping specific, of course, but there are still roles for fresh graduates as well. So fleet management are the team who maintain the vessels, who make sure that the vessels are safe for sailing, right? Seaworthy for most of the days in the year. It's like when you send your cars to a mechanic before your cars get broken. So these are the people who does that. And we have the crew management team who maintain or manage the crew or the seafarers on board the vessels. So these are some of the job functions that you may see. So you can see there the job portal of CMA CGM. Feel free to just go in and take a look what is required in each of the job to know more. All right. But regardless of which job or roles that excites you, I would say the list on the right are probably some of the skills and competencies that we will look for when we are recruiting. And this could be true for other industries and other companies as well. So obviously some relevant technical competencies will be helpful. If you're applying for a role in IT, you have an IT background, you have an IT diploma, of course it'll be useful. If you don't worry. If you have other relevant internship or past experience, you do want to highlight that to your potential employer, because working experience is really important lately. Communications, project management has always been important, but I think because of the pandemic, again, it becomes even more so. Partly, as you can imagine, we were, working from different parts of the world. We are working from home. We don't see each other. So communication skills become a little bit more challenging when you don't see each other face to face. And project management is basically how well you are managing your time, how well you prioritize, you solve problems, and all that. Okay. And another favorite is, of course, Microsoft Excel, because we handle a lot with data. We do a lot of data analysis. We do a lot of reporting. And when I say advanced Excel, I don't mean like VB or macro, right? You may not need that at the beginning, but pivot table, VLOOKUP, chart, Gantt charts, these are useful functions that can make your raw data be more useful to be analyzed by the senior management and to assist decision making. These are useful skills. And of course, back to basic, we are a shipping company after all. So it'll be nice if you, before you apply to any roles in any companies, you find out a little bit about the industry, find out a little bit about the company. You can Google it, it's all in the internet. And it's the good news is each and one of us has taken part in a supply chain somehow. Either we are an end consumer right? You shop from the e-commerce platform, or you can be one of the seller or service provider yourself, or you can be a distributor. So you are already part of the supply chain. You just don't know it yet, I guess. This one is my last two slides. This is a survey that we did for CMA CGM employees back in December 2019, so even before the lockdown. And 3 key skills came up, and these are answered by the CMA CGM employees. So communication came up on top. I have mentioned the importance of it. Leadership and also data analytics, which why Excel and other Power BI kind of skill comes into play. And this one is just to share that you can see some of the emerging new roles that are happening. And these are exactly taken from our job portals, I think last week. Fancy names like cloud security and blockchain experts starts popping up. In my 11 years of HR, I've never seen such thing being recruited in shipping companies until very recently. So cybersecurity, those things, if you have that knowledge and experience, I think you'll be in demand, and you may want to highlight that to your potential employer as well. So that's all for me. As a conclusion, I would say shipping is goes above not just ships and sailings. We are part of a big supply chain, and with we are moving the goods, we are moving services. So it is a dynamic industry, and if it's something that you want to know more, I welcome you to go to the website, go to the job portals, and just basically find out more about it. With that, I wish you good luck on your graduation, on your job search, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Leomi. Thank you for your sharing. And just to touch on a few points that I feel will be pretty relevant to our viewers, career opportunities are something that I believe most of our viewers right now, if you are in our Maritime webinar, I believe this is something that you are interested in, you want to know. Okay, career opportunities such as fleet and crew management, your purchasing exec, technical exec, marine safety exec, you have your trade and commercial, you have your ops and logistic, as well as corporate functions, which is your finance, HR, and IT, etc. And the things that I would say, I believe the industry look out for, okay, the skills and competency, okay, which Ms. Leomi did mention, okay, things like your technical competency, your relevant work or even internship experience is something nice that you can mention to your employer so that they know, you have such experience. Communication skills, I believe this is important in every single industry, no matter what you do, what job you do, where you are, even in school, communication is very, very important as well. Project management, okay, this covers time management and problem solving. Then this comes to a little bit of technical skills such as your Excel skills, not only your basic Microsoft Excel, more of data analyst, using VLOOKUP, creating Gantt charts, etc. These are important in the industry as well. And what's important as well is the basic knowledge of what the industry is about. That definitely you have to know. And once again, I'd like to extend our thanks to Ms. Leomi for sharing your experiences with us. And now for our viewers, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen now is that we will have our quiz question number 1. Okay, remember earlier on, I mentioned about having a quiz. Okay, so similarly, like what I've mentioned once again, I'll repeat. Okay, bring up your phone, scan the QR code right now. Okay, because this code allows you to access to our quiz question number 1. Okay, and that is, Singapore is connected to over how many ports? Is it A, 750? Is it B, 600? Is it C, 1002? Or is it D, 250? Okay, quickly scan the QR code or key in the URL link that is right below the code to access our quiz questions. Okay, once again, hurry up, scan it, answer the question, because you will stand a chance to win our prize. And our prize for this is a cash vouchers. Okay, we have cash vouchers to be given out to people who get the correct answer. Okay, once again, Singapore is connected to over how many ports? Is it A, 750, B, 600, C, 1,200, or is it D, 250? Okay, quickly answer the question, because after this question, what's going to happen is I will be handing the time over back, okay, to Captain Frederick for him to answer, for him to introduce more of our industry speakers who will be coming on. So quickly finish up your questions, okay? And right now, okay, like I've mentioned, okay, we have more speakers coming up to share with us. So do keep your ears open, okay? Drink a bit of coffee, shake a bit, okay, to keep yourself awake. And now, okay, I would like to hand the time back over to Captain Frederick.
Now I'd like to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Wong Hong Lee. Mr. Wong Hong Lee is a graduate from the Diploma in Marine Engineering, who then went on to pursue another degree in engineering and getting his first class honors. He then came back and worked in brokerage firms before finding his own company, Clarinets, which is a Pier 71 winner as well. And he's currently the Chief Executive Officer of Sovereign Shipping. So his journey is not just on the engineering that he's done, but the foundation of marine engineering in Singapore Poly has given him the platform to do a lot more and also set up his own companies. Over to you, Mr. Wong Hong Lee.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Hong Lee. I'm from Sovereign. I was asked by Singapore Poly to share my experience in the trend. Okay, the topics I'm going to cover is my education and my career path, career advice, and industrial trends for the maritime career. My education and career. I graduated in 94, went to sail, came back to become a surveyor, and then become an S&P broker upon graduation from marine engineering, creating my first class in Newcastle. So this is my journey. I started off 21 years ago. I started off with Simpson Spence & Young, and now I own my own company called Sovereign Shipbrokering. My career advice for all of you. If you have a chance, go to sea. Have a 2 or 3 years of sea experience. Thereafter, come back and start your maritime journey. So when I came back from sea, when I joined a shipbroking, I don't have contact. Start one, don't worry. Everything, try, build up something, start something. If you have nothing in Singapore, you can't find, start one. It's free. There's so many social media. Back then, 2004, there's no social media. And the only group that I have is Yahoo group. And back then, and from there, I have influenced and spoken to SSTO on this kind of youth group. And 2005, youth executive group from SSA started. And the most important in our life in the maritime is networking. It's very important. I have regretted when I was in Newcastle, I didn't meet and talk to the Greek student there, and because I want to achieve my first class honor. But I was wrong. If I keep back the time, go back, I will meet them and talk to them and have more chatting and networking with them. Your mouth is very important. It's the direction you need to go, where to go, how to achieve your thing. Speak always the good thing, not to hurt people. Your mouth is very important, and then will help you to achieve. And your heart, you need to have a very good and honest. And always remember, the truth will not be spoiled, and always you try to cover up is very bad. Use the right thing, talk the right thing, and be honest. And I always have this philosophy in myself to be a stable person, to have 4 legs. You always have your family, friends, your work, and your religion. These 4 things must always in yourself. And with all this in your heart and mind, I'm sure you can able to achieve a lot of stuff. And finally, passion and plan. If you have passion in your work, you will be up the scale to many high place you can go. And have a plan, always have a plan. Like for example, if you have passion, you want to get things right. I studied Malay during my secondary school, but I can't even speak a word of Mandarin and I can't read. But I did a lot of new buildings in China. Need me to speak a lot of Mandarin, but of course, I still can't read. But your mouth is your direction, and your heart, with a good heart, you can go prosper. My thought is, let's say I go back to the back and think, hey, I'm a shipbroker for so many years, sail, but that, I mean, from what I think we've talked to my colleagues and my friends that I have many years, I have seen the difference in a ship owning company, a more stable company, and a broker. Broker is exclamation high of earning, and then you got stale. But if you don't do the right things, you go down. But for ship owning, it's different. Slow but steady. But if you work hard, passion, and do what you like, I'm sure you can go to the top management in no time. the industrial trend. I was asked to say, hey, Hong Li, got to talk about fresh workforce. What is the advice? The most important part, whatever is, start in a maritime company, work in a maritime company. That's where you get the experience, know the maritime network, and then 3 to 4 years from them, you know what you want to be. And in Singapore, there's so many maritime companies where you can able to work there. As you can see from this, only some of it. There are so many more. You can work in the MPA as well. You can work from there. You can learn so many. You can ESG Singapore as well if you want to try with the Singapore government first. But then there are still many SMEs and big maritime companies in Singapore waiting for you to join them. Write in, use your mouth, use your network. Just write in, no problem. And you say that, hey, Hong Li, there's so much saying about maritime innovation and startup. Everybody says it's making tons of money, but hey, you got to understand, retail, e-commerce, and is different from innovation in maritime because of the target audience, which is e-commerce for retail is millions and millions, whereas maritime innovation is just only a very small circle. Take care, take note. Let's say before you go to this innovation, have some saving, have some experience before you jump into it. Because in the startup for maritime innovation, 90% fails, 10% start will fail within a year. Well, how you can say, Hong Li, how you know that? Because I've been there. I started Caritex. It's a software, it's an SSA system that able to optimize bunker tanker scheduling. But then I left the advice and become an advisor 2020, and I have learned great depth knowledge in Singapore digital market and internationally as well. I know, and boy, if let's say I'm a younger time, I want to go in more and more. But then I have other passion, which is still the shipbooking. In summary, I say that persevere, be passionate about your job, have the table, 4 legs philosophy that I have, be there, experience, and when your experience help you, remember to learn how to say no and stop. Don't go into a long term. If let's say you feel that it's no good, or the all the condition is telling you it's not. Never stop learning and reading. I have been upgrading all the time and always read. It's good to read. And recently I know that blockchain will be the next phase in the whole world industry. It's not about crypto or NFT, but blockchain for smart contract for more commercial side. And maritime job will be for there. Even if you have the Alibaba, you have Lazada or Shopee, you need still to ship the things from overseas to Singapore. And you need a ship, and you need a shipping company need insurance agents, and you still need all the engineering and the sales of the equipment. Mariners are creative, and we never quit. And I hope through this conversation and my presentation over here, it will help you all to think more. There are always jobs in maritime. You are in a safe place if you work hard. Hope I have tell you my experience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hong Li. And now for our final speaker, who is a graduate from the Diploma in Nautical Studies. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Mark Koh. However, while this is his current job, he was sailing the 7 seas and an officer on passenger ships. But as he has recently got married, it doesn't mean your maritime career ends here. Instead, now he's taken a shore job so he can be with his wife and then start a family. So let's leave Mark Koh now to share on his learning journey and the fantastic opportunities in the maritime industry. Over to you, Mark Koh.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark. Currently a Senior Operations Executive at Keppel Smith Towage. So just a little bit about myself. I graduated from Singapore Maritime Academy with a Diploma in Nautical Studies back in 2012. After my graduation, I actually went out and sailed on board ships. My very first company was with a chemical tanker company. I sailed with them for about 2 years before I decided that I wanted to go into the passenger line. So I think around 2014, I went into the passenger cruise lines industry. I sailed with Royal Caribbean. So maybe I'll just start talking about a little bit about what I did when I was on board. When I graduated from poly, I graduated with a diploma in nautical studies and with a certificate of competency class 3. So when I went on board to sail, I sailed on board as a third officer and second officer following chief officer. Um, the basic job for navigating officer is definitely to navigate the vessel. But also on the side, we are also in charge of the safety of the vessel and obviously the safety of the life at sea. Being on board has allowed me to be more adaptable to changes, and to basically survive. You could say survive on my own, because there are no being out at sea. You're like a floating building. You are everything. So you're the firefighter. You're the mechanic. You're the technician. You're everything, right? So initially when I first started off, it didn't occur to me that I would need all these skills later on in life. So back in 2020, just before COVID started, uh, I already decided to step ashore and to stop sailing. So my first job actually was a marine superintendent for a bunker company, a local bunker company. Being a marine superintendent on board, with them means that I had, instead of being in charge of just one vessel, I was in charge of a whole fleet of vessels. Um, the main job of a marine superintendent is to make sure that the ship is running smoothly, it's according to standards, regulations, and etc. So my sailing career actually helped me in this path and this transition, because it wasn't all foreign when I decided to step ashore. But I was only in the industry for about 6 months before I was headhunted by Keppel Smith Towage, my current employer. So I joined them as a senior operations executive. The job scope is more or less the same, but on top of that, it's on the operational side of things. So being in the operation side, I am the one that arranges the vessels, the movements of the vessels. So I'm telling the vessels, to go from point A to point B. This is your job today. You do these few jobs. Yeah. So having this new sort of like a job scope, it was something new to me, but being adaptable from my sailing days, I was able to pick it up relatively quickly. So yeah, so that's where I am now today, and maybe I just give you all a little bit of insight into the marine industry currently as of today. Because I work in towage, I can safely say that the marine industry is booming. There are more ships coming into Singapore. There are more shipyards that are building vessels now in Singapore. So from what I see, I have a lot more movements, and that's why I can safely say that there are there are more opportunities for a lot of graduates like yourselves to step into the market. Yeah, so if you ask me why I started off in the marine industry way back when, uh, it's because I wanted something, a stable job. I wanted continuity. And back then I already knew that the marine industry took up actually 7% of Singapore's GDP. So of course, with the other marine services around, they will make up more than 7% in total. So other marine services could include logistics, steel building, metal building, shipbuilding, all these other factors, not just the port, not just PSA port bringing containers in, right? So yeah, I can safely say that the marine industry now in Singapore is relatively stable and it's up and coming. So maybe I'll give you all a little bit of advice When I started off, yes, I was more or less quite lucky because yes, I graduated with a certificate of competency class 3, and that had allowed me to move on to my sailing career. It's an internationally recognized certificate, and it was relatively easy. I got a job within 1 or 2 days of sending out my resume. So for graduates of the DNS diploma, it, more or less this would be your journey. The one that I took. You start off with your class 3, get your class 2, get your class 1, and then after which you move on ashore. That's more or less what a normal graduate from the DNS would go through. For for those that are of you that are in the nautical the business portion, or even the technical the engineering portions, opportunities are still endless, because why? You have different services for the marine industry. You have ship charterers, ship brokers. Ship brokers are people who sell the ships. So yes, you have people who build the ships, but you also have people that need to sell the ship, right? So you have the logistics, as I said. You have commercial side of things. You have the sales side of things, and sometimes you can even be in HR. You deal with crewing, and you deal with all those. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if you've already started the race, just finish it. Starting may not be as calm and and rosy as they all always will tell you, but with experience and knowledge and everything, things will work out for you. Everywhere else is jobs are opening now, so I think everybody should take the opportunity, get yourselves out there. Yeah. So I think with that, I would like to wish all of you good luck and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Mr. Wong as well as Mr. Marco. Okay, I think Mr. Wong's summary was very, very nice. Okay, he mentioned you got to persevere and have passion for what you are doing. And I like his table 4 legs analogy. Okay, you have your family, your friends, your work, and your religion to support you, as well as most importantly yourself also. And go out and experience things. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Head out, experience things, learn more. And yes, never stop learning and reading. Okay, never stop learning and reading. And 2 key points: maritime jobs will be forever. No matter what happens, it will always be there. And that mariners are creative and will never quit. Okay, I like the fact that you guys will never quit. All right, and for Mr. Marco, I like how he ended. Okay, he mentioned that you have already started the race, so you might as well finish it. And this road will not be all calm and rosy like what certain people will tell you, but of course, with your determination, your experience, knowledge, and hard work, okay, you will definitely succeed, and things will work it out by itself. Okay, so thank you so much to our speakers for sharing your in-depth experience and knowledge with us. And for now, okay, we will head into our panel discussion portion. Before that, ladies and gentlemen, okay, another quiz question for all of you. Okay, quiz question number 2. Okay, let's take a look at what question number 2 is. Okay, the maritime sector accounts for 7% of Singapore's gross domestic product, which is our GDP. Is that true or is that false? Okay, so if you guys have already answered question number 1, you will know what to do. Scan the QR code, visit the link, and answer this question very, very quickly. The maritime sector accounts for 7% of Singapore's gross domestic product. Is that true or false? Okay, I shall leave you guys with about 1 to 2 minutes to answer this question before we start off our panel discussion. Okay, and right now, okay, we would like to once again invite all of our speakers up on stage again. Okay, first of all, we have Miss Leomi, we have Mr. Wong Hong Lee, and finally we have Mr. Mark Koh to join us as panelists for this Q&A and panel discussion segment. And this whole segment will be moderated by Captain Frederick. Okay, so if you guys are still wondering how do you ask your questions, okay, actually I believe I've seen a couple of questions already. But for those of you who want to ask more or you do not know where to ask, okay, towards the right-hand side of your screen, there is a little rectangle panel that says ask your question here. Just type in all of your questions, okay? Any doubts, anything you want to clarify with regards to the industry, what should you do, what certs you should get, how do you have an edge over others? Ask it, okay? And our partners, our speakers, they will be answering all of them accordingly. Okay, so right now, I would like to hand the stage over to all of them again. Captain Frederick, the time is yours. Captain Frederick, I think you're on mute. So if you don't mind, you can just unmute yourself.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So I think you've enjoyed the sharing from our three prominent diploma graduates. And I mean, seeing them there remind me of the days when they were with us. Leomi, who was always doing she's not just being a top student, she also dance and do lots of curriculum. I remember watching her perform with the SP dancers. Mark Koh, while he's done a lot outside, he was playing the drums. We were doing a lot of great fun. We even performed, I think, in the hotel for DNVGL for a very international function. And Mr. Wong Hong Lee, by goodness, he makes school life and class so fun. He makes so much fun for the lecturers and the students, but he only does pranks on the lecturers. And yet he becomes a top student and first class honors. I really don't know how they do it, but that's why we've invited them back, for them to share with us what is their secret formula. Okay, lots of questions have come out. I'll start with the lady. So Miss Eileen Wee has posed a few questions. So I think the first one would be great for Leomi to answer. Do you think it is possible to switch careers to maritime business relatively easily? So Eileen is asking now. Leomi, over to you.
Thank you. So how easy is it to move into maritime business, right? My answer would be yes, of course, because maritime business is business. So it's like any other industries. I mentioned earlier, we have corporate functions that goes across all industries. Of course, it will help to know a little bit about the industry because you don't want to just come in because your friends are coming in. One thing I would say about maritime is that you either love it or you don't like it, right? I don't know if the other panels agree with me. Some people jump into maritime industries not knowing what it is, but they fell in love with it and they never leave. Maybe myself included. I didn't see me staying in the shipping industry for so long, but here I am, 16 years after. But it's not for everyone, okay? But I guess you will not know until you try it. So pack up with what you have, with what your diploma brings you, with all the skills that you can highlight to the job and the skills that are relevant to what the employers is asking. And of course, we take in people from all over industries. Doesn't mean that you have not been in the industry before. There's no chance for you to come in. In fact, we invite people from the other industries to cross over and experience the shipping industry themselves. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leomi. That's great. Then while we have questions, we seem to have a lot of praises for all of you. One of them was just saying they love how Mr. Wong Hong Lee has given an inspiration. So this is just perfect for him. The question is, can an engineer move to the corporate functions job role? Do we need relevant diploma or can we try to apply with our marine related diploma? Mr. Wong, over to you.
Okay. If you are an engineer in any diploma, you can always have two choices: to be an engineer and to be in the management. So that's the flexibility for an engineer. As for to go for this kind of I mean, as I said just now, it is very easy to become in this of all the management thing, as you said. So all you need is perseverance and passion. That's all. I mean, you have, in fact, I can go to real estate, no problem, because it's more about business, how you navigate. If you are in the management, you speak to the people, control the people, and work together, collaborate together, and most important is persevere what you want to and patient about it. I believe that in marine engineering or maritime people, there is a work through the hard industry. You can excel in any industry. Back in the old days, when you came back, someone worked in hotel because they look after the boiler and also on the engineering, the electrical stuff. So I can say we in the maritime industry are flexible. And if you are from other industry coming to here, like Naomi has said, have some understanding and you can let you work. We can know, we can see if you are passionate about it. We can feel it. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wong. So he's talked about it, perseverance, because it's not easy. You got to hold on, and the passion. And he talked to us about the table with the 4 legs. So actually, the other 2 legs, I believe, the other one is to be playful. He's also enjoying life. He's not making things always serious. But the 4th part, I know that he has a lot, is professionalism. He takes a serious thing. He puts very quality effort into it. So these are the pointers on that. Okay, thank you. And next one comes in. Someone who was on love boats, the beautiful passenger ships, and now he's come to a very cold, tough Keppel Smith. So this question comes from one of our students. They said, how do you know where to switch your job, from industry and then changing over to something else, which means changing over from the job that you had at sea to the one ashore. How do you know? And in exact words is, how do you know when to leave a company for a better career progression? Mark, over to you.
Wow, this is such a difficult question to answer. Well, I think personally, for me, as Captain Frederick had mentioned, I was I stopped sailing because I wanted to get married, start a family. So I think most sailors will also tell you the same thing. The one thing that the one advantage that I had was that I started off earlier, right after secondary school. So right after secondary school, I went on to diploma in nautical studies, and then I started my sailing career from there. And this allowed me quite a number of years to sail and gain enough experience. So now, if you ask me, if you don't have a wife to be or something, I guess when you want to try, I mean, how would I know exactly when to transit ashore? Well, I guess you will reach a saturation point somewhere in your sailing career. The saturation point could be that you have already reached master, you've already become a captain, or even with a class 1, like I said, you start the race, you don't give up, right? So you end after you get your class 1, and after you know that you have gained enough knowledge to move on into the shore side of things. Because once you step ashore, it is a lot different from what you would experience on the ship. It's a whole world of a difference. So before I actually decided to step ashore, I was talking to people who had already been ashore for quite a while. I was also getting advice from them and asking them, what is it like? What can I expect? And if you think that you are confident enough that you have enough experience to step ashore, then that would be your turning point. I guess personally, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think, Mark, you're right about it. You spoke to a lot of people about the coming ashore, but I think finally it was your wife to be who says, quit your job and come ashore. So what I'm trying to say is, what Mark has said, family is very important. Same with Leomi and same with Hong Li. So same with me. My first job was with NUL APL, from a cadet to a captain with 9 commands. When my first child was born, it's natural that I would know when to come ashore. But though I gave up a captain's job, my pay later even got even better. So a lot is about family. And my second job is actually here now, or my first short job, 26 over years, including being sent by Poly for a degree. But now this question, I need someone from HR to answer because I've never job hopped. One job at sea, one job on land. So this question comes is it true that we need to job hop to progress quickly in the career path and promote to another higher job role? Okay, our HR partner, Leomi, over to you.
Okay, thank you. I think this is related to the previous question that is attention to Mark. Basically, I mean, as a fresh graduate, my advice is when you apply for a job, be prepared to stay, right? Don't, it's a little bit too early for you to think about job hopping, and it's a bit early for you to think about when can I move on to a better pay or a better position at this stage. My advice from the HR perspective would be look within the company that you are in right now or will be, because you never know that you may find something better within the company itself. And there's no guarantee that if you move to another company, it will be better, it will be more comfortable, it will be, more rewarding, etc. Higher pay comes with higher responsibility and higher workload, I would say, right? Shipping people are very realistic. They give you the money and they give you the work as well. Okay. So I think how you know whether you want to move away from a particular job is where you already find no satisfaction in your career, when you stop learning already, when you can do the work with one eye closed and you don't feel challenged anymore, then that's a good sign for you to move on and look for something else. I hope that answers the questions, Cap.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you, Leomi. Thank you very much. Okay, so another thing that someone has asked, what are some qualifications that the marine industry look up to and create interest when they are hiring that they can apply to all job roles in the industry? I mean, Leomi has shared with you earlier key skills for tomorrow. The top 3 is actually just communications, so leadership and data analytics. So now we talk about the other qualifications. I think very appropriate is for Mr. Wong Hong Lee, who from the time he joins a company, he builds up and then he sets up one that became a very fantastic startup. Another peers everyone being a winner, clarinets. And after that, he moves on and sets something else up. And yet his first job that he came into is something that he continues. So how does he balance that? So perhaps when you talk about qualifications, again, he talks about the passion, perseverance. So I leave it to Hong Lee to give you all a few more pointers on this thing about being in the industry and the qualifications, creating the interest, and about the hiring. Hong Lee?
Okay, thanks, Cap. Okay, the qualification you have, let me see. I would say that for me is I started off maritime, marine engineering. If let's say you are in the marine engineering, you are looking for the selling engines or technical stuff, you need to have hands-on experience, and slowly you move up to the management. In fact, one of my broker that worked for me before or still working with me as my colleague now, he's from the banking. So after 6 months of job in maritime, in the marine, he become a S&P broker because of course you must have good mentor. And I have said many times, those guys that are in the maritime, they know this person have the X factor. I'm sure Laomi and Mark have seen it so many times. Those guys that come in, they say with a lot of good paperwork or good qualification, it does not fit into the system. Yet someone that's full of passion, they know it is how that we can grab the good one to the society, to our team. And the passion, as I said, passion, perseverance is very important. And what can I say that let's say if you are in the engineering, you have slightly more what you call this advantage. And if you go sailing, much better, more advantage in the maritime because you have done it, been there, and taste it. So I encourage all the graduate or those who are taking maritime, if you have chance, sail. That's the best experience, and not many people are able to sail, and they don't have this kind of qualification or studies to go. Once you are back, you are very high demand. I can assure you that. So hope I have answered the question.
Okay, thank you, Hong Li. I believe you have. So now something else itself about the work. Someone has posted, okay, what do you think was something that you learned from the diploma in maritime business that you realized was important when you entered the maritime workforce? So DMB graduate Leomi, this is yours. Something that you learned from DMB that you realized was important.
Wow. Everything is important because all the lecturers share important things, right? Okay. I guess the diploma is definitely important when I started my career. It does help to give a good impression of the industry. That gives me confidence to enter the industry as my first job. It gives the knowledge of things that only a person in maritime would know because the industry is pretty niche. The jargons, the terms used are really specialized to maritime industry. So having learned diploma in maritime business does help to give me an added advantage on that. But as you progress along your career, as I progress along my career, of course, what we learn back in school and the papers that we have kind of become less important as the working experience takes over, because employers do see working experience, especially in shipping, as something that is more tangible of what you can deliver. Okay, so as a start, definitely hold to that diploma of yours is very important. Put it up, right? If you have good grades, highlight it. But as the experience comes in, then maybe the diploma or what you learn, you will realize that not everything is as relevant anymore because the industry changes really fast.
Yeah, I think that is very well answered. Okay, now I'm going into our multi-specialist, this guy who does a lot. So a triple question for you, Mark, okay, from 3 persons or 2 who pose questions. Firstly, the question asked, Mark, is what is the hardest thing about seamanship or being on foreign going vessels? Then the other person, Eileen, added, what are your working hours? Food options like when you're out at sea? And finally, Eileen asked also, what is the most memorable experience during your training and career so far? Mark, triple one for you.
Oh, okay, let's do it one at a time. Sorry, can you go to the first question again?
What is the hardest thing about seamanship or
Okay.
being on foreign going ships?
Okay, so okay, like I said, initially I started off on chemical tankers. It was a full Indonesian cruise ship. So it was only just Indonesians. I was the only Singaporean. So I would say that the language barrier would have been my top concern or the top problem actually. But after a while, you get used to it because life on board the vessel is quite routine. So you would know at the end you would know what is required of you. Um, um, Sailing on foreign going vessels is well, the, how can I say it? It wasn't okay. Okay, so if you're a graduate from SMA, um, and you have the proper guidance from the lecturers, you would sort of already know what kind of life you would have on board the vessel. So if you're asking me what is the hardest part of seamanship, or I think it's not that difficult to get used to it. Honestly speaking, it's really not difficult. Perseverance is definitely one of the top few. Because you could be woken up at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning just to go alongside. So getting used to that kind of life where I always, I on a side note, I always tell people that as a cadet, we're the greenest on the ship. So we're more green than the cockroach on board the vessel. So that that kind of puts you in place. Yeah, I think the I don't know, did I answer the question? The hardest part of seamanship is just getting used to the life.
Yeah, especially being on a chemical tanker. So the
Yeah.
other one is from Eileen is what about your working hours and the food options when you're out at sea?
Okay. So for the food options and the working hours, we're quite lucky because we are under something called the ILO. I'm not sure if you guys understand MLC, the Maritime Labour Convention. So according to these conventions, we have certain regulations that we have to follow in terms of work hours and even right down to the menu. So on average, I work at least 11 hours a day. That excludes all the emergencies that we have to attend to. Yeah, and for the food, I work on a passenger ship lah, so you can expect really, really good food lah.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that. I don't think you look famished,
No, I actually gained a couple of kgs lah. So.
Okay, so one last part from Eileen. What is the most memorable experience during your training or career so far?
I think, okay, I can answer both because training, number one, is definitely the time we spend in school. I believe that the lecturers and we have a really good, a really close bond together. So the training in school was quite, I can say, quite relevant to what you would actually experience out at sea. And in terms of career-wise, I think the pinnacle of my career was when I was the only Singaporean. I mean, I can say that I was the only Singaporean who has sailed in Alaska, in Alaskan waters. So that for me is quite a pinnacle in my career lah. So the moment where we went into Alaska and the pilots there told me they have never heard of a Singaporean sailor. So yeah, so I mean that was already quite the pinnacle in my career, and also the scenery there is something else. People tell you that sailing in countries like South America and and in some parts of the US is beautiful, but they have yet to see the northern part of the US, in Alaska. So yeah, and seeing wildlife there is also quite a beautiful place, and also the northern lights as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure you're also in a way they can say paid to see the world,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and the other thing I know your classmate Zachary said you were voted the most handsome Singaporean on board the ship.
Yeah,
so now I
also
realize
because
you're the only one.
I'm the only one.
Okay, now a question for a man who is the captain of his own destiny. So though he's an engineer, we call him a captain of his own destiny. This question poses, is it tough working in the marine industry since it is booming due to e-commerce? And in this e-commerce, the question that's linked with it, another person is asking about why is data analytics and other skills important? Hong Li, over to you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, let me see. Is it working?
Yep, we're here, yeah.
Okay, maritime industry is always in any industry when you work and you want to excel, you need a lot of effort. So in any industry you want to work in, it's tough. Nothing is easy in life. So for marine industry, it's just that you are working with some of the people that is working 24/7, 365 days, sea dogs, came back, rough, tough. They will never give up. So it's pretty tough to work in marine industry. But I don't think because of e-commerce, it's tough to work in marine industry. In fact, I think it's very stable to work in the maritime industry. And all this e-commerce that we have, I think majority of, if let's say you're getting information or product from overseas, you still need to go through the logistic and shipping, as you know, is the cheapest way of getting the product to any destination. And secondly, let's say the BI as well, data analytics, yes, it's important, but most important is what data you put into the analytics. That is the most important. If you rubbish in, rubbish out. So you need experienced people that if you have worked in the industry, that what are the real variables and the correct one and define to put in the BI to give you the good result and the information and what you want to see from there. So always remember, BI, AI is just only the hands. You need the heart and the head to put in what to create to come out the information you want to see. So I hope that answer your question.
Thank you, Hong Li. I see a lot of Confucianism in this gentleman, you know. Okay, next one is for Leomi. This is about someone asking, do you think that maritime theory is more important or exposure and experience is more important for the maritime business sector? And I'll link this with another question since you're in HR. Another person asked, is it really necessary or better to get a degree, or is a diploma good enough? Over to you, Leomi.
Thank you. I think I answered a little bit of the first question in my previous one, that initially the diploma is important because if you don't have any working experience, then the diploma shows what you have learned, what you have understand about the industry and what kind of skills and knowledge that you hold. But as you collect your working experience, then the industry is changing. So the employers will see your most recent working experience, I would say. In terms of degree or not, right? It's different, right? It depends on, number one, depends on the positions that you're applying. Certain positions may requires degree, and if you don't have it and other candidates have it, then you may be in a disadvantage. But some positions does not really differentiate whether you need a diploma or a degree. So my first tips, my HR tips would be, even if you see a requirement that says minimum bachelor degree and you only have a diploma, just apply, okay? Because of course, companies will pack the requirement a little bit higher than what they need, but they are open to see what other things that you can bring to the company other than the qualifications that you have. Okay, so there's a lot of these questions around this, I noticed. I think as a fresh graduate, what you have is your 3 years of studies. So you need to bank on that. You need to show that in that 3 years, you gain certain things. And that certain things is what the companies are interested to see. Because in the 3 years, you have other curricular activities. You are involved in other projects. You help out in charities. So all this you also want to highlight, right? Having a diploma in something doesn't just encompass that diploma in theory. It covers what other activities and life within the 3 years that you have learned, because that shows what kind of person you are, and that's what the company is interested to see. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think there's a few more questions here, but I think some of it you all can get hold of us. We'll help you with that, including courses that Poly has even after you graduate, because learning is lifelong. But if we keep answering everything, we're not going to go home. So what I like to do now is get each of the speakers to give a final passing shot and advice for our undergrads as they prepare, and also to inspire them to study a bit harder. I know you all have no more exams, but they still have exams. So let's start first with the other way around. We'll start with our Diploma in Nautical Studies graduate, where this one you have to go to see. So Mark, can you give us some parting shots and advice for our undergrads?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know how many of you all are from nautical studies, but what I can say is that, persevere, right? Life starting off on board the vessel is never easy, right? So you persevere, carry on, right? At the end of the day, you will be somewhere. And as Leomi has mentioned, also gain as much experience as you can, regardless of whichever industry you're from, because experience would definitely play a big part in your job hunting in the future. Yeah, so I think, like we've all been mentioning, never give up, you know, do, you know, do what you believe in, right? So if you believe that you will climb the ladder, the corporate ladder someday, you will have to climb, you will climb it, right? So just, yeah, never give up.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And now over to our entrepreneur, Mr. Wong Hong Lee.
Hi. Last word is always think can be can. So always have the positive thought. If let's say there's some negative, make it a positive, and you will look better, younger, and what you call this, live longer. And I want to add on that the grass is not always green the other side, because when you see green, they need to tender and work hard also. That's all.
Thank you, Hong Lee. And Leomi, ladies last now.
My last tips is to stay curious and have an open mind. So what our fresh graduates here have as an advantage is actually their youth. And that's where you can try a lot of things with, I would say, less risk and less commitment. So just be brave and have an open mind when you jump into something and put your 100% to it. You may not know, you may like it, or even if you jump into something that you don't like, you are still learning something. So have an open mind in everything and be curious and ask a lot of questions. Thank you.
Wow, thanks. I think that's been incredible. So many questions. I hope they have answered most of yours. And we continue to, of course, engage all of you. We are still here. But the most important, I think, advice that I can give all of you is networking. Here you have three people who are incredibly not just doing well in their degrees or in their diplomas, now in their work scope. Network with them, continue to engage them, contact us as well. We will support you. And seeing what they have done is only the tip of the iceberg. Our learners are still there. I'm sure I'm waiting again to have a band jam with Mark. Then when we can have more dance sessions with Anna here, and with, of course, Hong Lee, if I feel down and out, I must call him for a drink. He'll always cheer me up. So what I'm saying is, what these people have, whether SP, we can take a bit of credit for molding them when they're students here. They are complete persons that are so happy to give back to SP. So make use of getting to know them more, having them as your mentors and building up on all this. Because for me, that is the most satisfying. And one time when I had some award and they said, wow, teaching, I told them it's never a job. I never feel it as a job. It's so enjoyable. And again, seeing the three of them is a bonus that no bonus of money can ever be enough for me. So that's what I'm saying. I thank the three of them so much for sharing their time, taking the trouble to share with all these things and being so down to earth. And I know there'll be many more years that I'm still with them as friends. And all of you should also be a part of this big SP family. That's all I can say. And now I hand over to our MC, Derek Ho, to wrap things up. Derek, over to you.
Thank you so much, Captain Frederick, and thanks to all of our speakers for sharing all of these thoughts of yours. Okay, maybe just let me reiterate some of the points and some of the answers that you guys have for certain questions. I think earlier on during the panel discussion, somebody asked, how do you know when to leave a company for better career progression? Okay, I believe the question was answered by Mark. For him, he changed because he wanted to get married and to start a family. You see, so and he mentioned as well, you reach a point in your career, where it could have been, you become a captain, you have gained your class 1, or you have already achieved certain goals that you set for yourself, and that's why you really want to move on. But before you move on, you should go and recce a bit lah. Okay, go and ask around, understand more. How is things like over the other side? Is it something that you want to be in, something that you think you will suit into, you will like, or is it the same thing again? You got to know exactly where you're heading to, not like a blind mice. Okay, another question is it true that we need to job hop to progress quickly in the career path? I believe this question was directed to Miss Leomi as well. Okay, so she mentioned when you apply for a job at the start, be prepared to stay. Don't apply for a job and go into, start work thinking that, okay, I want to leave this place in a year's time. I go to somewhere else and get better pay. Stay there, experience, because you don't ask for good remuneration at the start. You get your experience, you upgrade yourself, you have your skill sets, then you have your bargaining chip to ask for more. Look for the good in the current company and know where you can achieve what you can achieve in it. It doesn't mean that changing, going to other sides, it means that it's going to be better. And you should only change when you find no satisfaction in the job anymore. There's no challenges, you stop learning, and you do the work with one eye closed. Means that you're not growing anymore. Maybe that is a time for you to change and move on to somewhere else. And towards the end, I believe all of our speakers, Mr. Mark, Mr. Wong, and Miss Leomi, made very, very good final advice for all of us. For Mark, he mentioned, gain as much experience as possible and persevere. Life on board a vessel is never easy, but at the end of the day, if you persevere, fix your mind on something, you will achieve your goal one day. And for Mr. Wong, very short and sweet, okay, but impactful. Think can, be can, have a positive mindset, because that is really very important. How you set yourself, every day if you wake up, you think, wow, very sian, and then you're gonna have a very bad day. How you think, what you put your mind to is very, very important. And for Miss Leomi, she mentioned, stay curious, have an open mind, be brave, and put 100% into whatever you are doing, because only when you put in your 100%, then you will receive something back. You don't expect to put in a 20% effort and then you grow and then things happen. It's not going to work that way. Okay, so thanks a lot once again to all of our speakers, okay, Miss Leomi, Mr. Wong, as well Mr. Mark, and thanks a lot to Captain Frederick for moderating this session. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our quiz question number 3. Okay, so if you already answered question 1, you have answered question 2, it's time for question number 3 right now. And let's take a look at what this question is. Okay, question number 3. Which of the following is a job role in the maritime sector? A, shipbrokers, B, shipping analyst, C, fleet managers, or is it D, all of the above? I believe this was covered by one of the speakers earlier on. Okay, so if you have listened out, okay, you will know the answer. Is it A, shipbrokers, B, shipping analysts, C, fleet managers, or is it D, all of the above? Okay, quickly answer this question. Okay, and scan the QR code, type in the URL, whichever it is easier for you to get access to the quiz. Okay, so 1 more minute for you guys to answer this question before we come to the end of the program. All right, and that's it for question number 3. And with that, we are coming towards the end of the event. Before you guys leave, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to all of our viewers online tuning in to our Maritime webinar, okay, I need you guys to do me a favor, just a very short thing for you guys to do. It just takes a minute or 2. Okay, I need to collect your feedbacks, okay, with regards to this event. So how do you let me know of your feedbacks? Very simple. Similarly, scan a QR code, okay, that's gonna appear on your screen right now. Okay, scan this QR code, okay, and let us know of your feedbacks, how we can improve ourselves. It's just a short feedback form of a couple of questions. Okay, let us know how we can improve so that in the future, we can bring to you better of such events. All right, and also if you participate in this feedback form, okay, you do stand a chance to win cash vouchers as well, okay, just like how you participated in our quiz. Okay, it's 2 different set of prizes. So you have already participated in the quiz. Now, please do let us know of your feedback, okay, because there are prizes to be won as well. We want to know your honest feedback. Okay, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, okay, after this feedback form, we are already now at the end of our last session, number 7. That is our Maritime webinar of our Singapore Polytechnics Virtual Career Symposium 2022. This is our last session. However, okay, this is not the last day of the entire event. Okay, tomorrow on the 11th of March at 11 a.m. Okay, there's a webinar, okay, titled Get a Head Start in Your Career with SP Work Study Program, Earn, Learn, and Advance. Okay, I believe this is with regards to the work study program. So if you're interested in this, please do tune into the webinar that's going to happen tomorrow at 11 a.m. And of course, next Monday, okay, our following Monday, on the 14th of March at 10 a.m. Okay, we will have a webinar on basics of freelancing. Okay, so if you're considering maybe you want to do some freelancing job, be it, a designer, a photographer, a performer, this is something that you might want to join and listen out to as well. And of course, our last webinar that will be on the 14th of March, next Monday as well, that is at 3 p.m. Okay, webinar titled Jumpstart Your Job Search. Okay, so that is with regards to your job searching. So if you are interested, okay, please do join us in our webinar tomorrow and 2 webinars next Monday on the 14th of March. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so 14th of March and tomorrow 11th of March. Okay, and yes, with that, okay, we are really at the end already. Myself, okay, my name is Derek. It is a really very happy and honorable thing for me to come back to Singapore Poly to host this event, because I myself, I studied in Singapore Poly as well. And just a message to all of you viewers out there, if you're still watching, okay, just like what our speakers have mentioned, okay, please have an open mindset, okay, positive mindset, go and try things out, okay, step out of your comfort zone, okay, don't keep thinking, what if I fail, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to fail, that is where you learn, okay. I myself, I've been through many obstacles or many setbacks, and everybody achieves things differently. One more thing as well is, don't compare yourself with your peers. You are racing your own race. Okay, you're in your own race. Don't think, wow, my friends now already this, have already achieved this, but I'm still here. Everybody has their own pace. So don't compare yourself with others. Just keep going. Okay, and of course, good luck, all the best. Once again, my name is Derek. Thanks for joining us, okay, on our Singapore Poly's Virtual Career Symposium 2022, where we bring journeying with you beyond SP. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, all of you. I'll come and see you all later to drop by your gifts.
All right, thank you. Bye, Cap. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, Captain.
Bye.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All the best.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Dee. Thanks, Karen. Thank you.